Brazil produces football like Brazil produces samba, rhythmic, passionate, and endlessly captivating. But behind the beautiful football and worldwide flair, there's a pattern that keeps surfacing. Brazilian players often struggle with consistency, discipline, and longevity at the top level. Why does the same nation that gave us Pelé, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, and Neymar also produce players whose careers unravel due to off-field distractions, locker room dramas, or sudden declines? Today we dive deep into the roots of this phenomenon, not to criticize, but to understand. And we'll do that through the lens of the players themselves, each embodying a specific challenge that seems all too common in the Brazilian game. Neymar Jr., the face of a flawed generation. Neymar was born to be a superstar. From his days at Santos to the peak at Barcelona, he was magic in motion. He danced past defenders, scored with flair, and captured imaginations across the world. But that same brilliance came with chaos, an obsession with lifestyle, celebrity, and attention that often distracted from football. When Neymar moved to PSG for a record €222 million, it was supposed to mark the beginning of his Ballon d'Or quest. Instead, it ushered in a cycle of injuries, missed matches, and controversies. He regularly missed Champions League knockout games due to conveniently timed injuries, drawing suspicion. His parties, birthday trips, and clashes with managers often overshadowed his goals. More concerning was how Neymar's brand overshadowed his leadership. Despite being Brazil's poster boy, he never quite became the unifying figure the national team needed. He chased the spotlight, but rarely shouldered the burden. His diving antics, fiery temper, and antics often undermined his immense skill. What Neymar leaves behind is a fractured legacy. Statistically, he's elite, but emotionally, he failed to fill the void left by players like Ronaldinho or Kaká. His influence on the new generation, prioritizing flash over fight, might be his most enduring impact, for better or worse. Antony, ego over end product. When Manchester United paid nearly €100 million for Antony, eyebrows were raised. A winger known more for flair than final product, Antony came with high expectations and a swagger that was unmistakably Brazilian. But what followed was underwhelming. Few goals, poor decision-making, and performances that failed to justify his price tag. Antony's style of play, endless step-overs, unnecessary tricks, and showboating often lacked efficiency. While fans initially enjoyed the flair, it quickly became frustrating. Matches passed where Antony looked more concerned with going viral than creating chances. The Premier League's intensity and demand for end product exposed his limitations brutally. His off-pitch persona didn't help either. Reports of arrogance, clashes with coaching staff, and questions about his attitude painted a worrying picture. Instead of evolving under pressure, Antony often appeared defensive, unwilling to adjust his game or improve tactically. Antony is emblematic of a generation of Brazilians who arrive in Europe with inflated expectations, but without the adaptability to survive. It's not about talent, it's about purpose. Without evolution, flair becomes noise, and right now, Antony is louder than he is effective. Reinier, the lost wonder kid. Reinier was once compared to Kaká. Tall, elegant, graceful on the ball, he had all the markings of a future playmaker. Real Madrid snatched him up quickly, hoping to mold him into their next superstar. But instead of careful nurturing, he was tossed around Europe like a loan product. His time at Borussia Dortmund was forgettable. He barely featured, looked out of place, and never built any real rhythm. A subsequent move to Girona didn't help either. Reinier spent more time on the bench than on the pitch, and his confidence slowly eroded. The tragedy of Reinier is not about ability, it's about timing and planning. He wasn't ready for Europe. He needed games, trust, and a coach who believed in him. Instead, he was treated as a financial investment with no roadmap. His decline highlights a deeper issue in Brazilian football's export model. Clubs are too quick to cash in. agents chase moves, not mentorship. And young talents like Reinier end up forgotten, not because they weren't good enough, but because they were never given the tools to prove they were. Gabriel Jesus, the plateau of promise. Gabriel Jesus had a fairy tale rise, from painting the streets in Brazil to leading Palmeiras to a league title. His move to Manchester City brought excitement. Pep Guardiola praised his energy, movement, and work rate. But while he had flashes of brilliance, he never quite became the clinical striker Brazil desperately needed. Jesus often found himself playing out wide or coming off the bench. His finishing was inconsistent, and his composure in big moments was questioned. Despite his team play, he rarely made the difference in crucial games. In the national team setup, he went goalless in multiple Copa America and World Cup matches. His move to Arsenal promised a new chapter. And while his influence on the Gunners' young squad is notable, he still struggles with the same issues: lack of goals, streaky form, and injuries. For someone tipped to be Brazil's next great number 9, the output hasn't matched the potential. Gabriel Jesus is a symbol of missed evolution, a player who had all the ingredients to be great but settled into a supporting role. He reminds us that hard work and humility aren't always enough without the killer instinct. Vinícius Jr. Temper meets talent. Vinícius Jr. might be Brazil's best player right now. His transformation at Real Madrid from a raw talent to one of the most feared wingers in Europe is incredible. His dribbling, speed, and fearlessness break games open. But his temperament continues to be a ticking time bomb. Vini is often targeted by defenders and fans. The racial abuse he's faced in Spain is despicable and deserves condemnation. But his emotional reactions, confronting referees, getting into fights, and losing focus have hurt his team at times. Matches have slipped away not because he wasn't good enough, but because he was baited into battle. That volatility reflects the high-pressure cauldron modern Brazilians play in. Every mistake is magnified, every expression is judged. And while Vinícius has matured remarkably, there's still a fine line between passion and provocation. If Vini can fully master his emotions, he could define this next generation. But if not, his brilliance might always come with baggage, a gift Brazil can't afford to waste. Gerson, style doesn't travel. Gerson was a star in Brazil. His performances for Flamengo were dominant, strong, technical, composed. But his moves to Roma and Marseille exposed a harsh reality. Brazilian league success doesn't always translate. Gerson struggled with Europe's tactical demands and tempo. He lacked defensive awareness, positional discipline, and intensity. Coaches found him hard to trust in big games. His return to Brazil felt like a retreat, a player giving up on growth too early, and that decision hurt his international prospects. Gerson's case highlights a recurring Brazilian issue: comfort. Many players thrive in familiar environments but falter when challenged abroad. Instead of adapting, they retreat. And that mindset limits not just careers, but Brazil's global influence. Talent is universal. Adaptation isn't. And without it, players like Gerson become stars at home, but ghosts on the world stage. Endrick, born into the pressure. Endrick is only 17, yet he carries the hopes of a nation. Real Madrid have already bought him, Nike has signed him, and every goal he scores at Palmeiras is broadcast as prophecy. He's being watched, judged, and labeled before he's even debuted in Europe. The fear is familiar. We've seen this with countless wonder kids. Robinho, Alexandre Pato, even Neymar. A media circus forms, the pressure builds, and the kid collapses. Endrick is showing maturity beyond his years, but the weight he bears is dangerous. Brazil needs to change how it handles prodigies. Protect them, build them, let them fail quietly and grow slowly. If not, Endrick may become another cautionary tale in a country obsessed with early legends. Endrick's story is still being written, but unless Brazil learns from its past mistakes, the ending may already be familiar. Brazil's biggest battle isn't the pitch, it's the system. Brazil has never had a shortage of talent, But talent isn't the issue. Structure, planning, and emotional growth are. From Neymar's unfulfilled potential to Antony's inflated ego, there's no unified roadmap. No development system that puts mental health, tactical education, and long-term vision at the forefront. Everything is short-term, transfer, sell, hope. And that's why even the best Brazilian stars often fade when the spotlight gets brighter. For Brazil to reclaim its throne, it doesn't need more stars. It needs structure, leadership, vision. Until that happens, every new prodigy will inherit the same curse: brilliance born, but never truly built. The world waits for Brazil's next hero, but more than talent, he'll need time, support, and silence. Without that, the issues will only continue, again and again. What's next for Brazilian football? The answer might not be a player. It might be a system Brazil has yet to create.